What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and today we have to do it, right? Act 10 versus Act 9. A lot of people are saying that Act 9 was better. I haven't had it in a long time. I have a little bit left, so I figured it's about time to put these two up against each other. But you know how we're doing it. We're doing it blind. That's right, we're using our Great Whiskey Challenge blind tasting kit. If you're not doing blind, you're doing it wrong. But let's pour these up and let's figure out which one's going to be better, Act 10 or Act 9. And my new favorite way to stir these up so I don't know which one's which. Spin the Lazy Susan, close the eyes, do a little switcheroo. You never know which one's which. Try not to spill them. I don't know if this Lazy Susan idea was a good or a bad idea. There we go, we're all mixed up. We have glass A, glass B, don't know which one's which. Bottle B, bottle A. Act 10 versus Act 9. Let's see what we got. Everybody knows before we get started, time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. It's definitely High West. So if you haven't already checked out my review on Act 10, we didn't do Act 9 on a review last year because last year we weren't doing ryes when it came to our price, taste, drinkability, but Act 10 scored pretty well, right? It's up there in the high 8s, which is exactly where it belongs. That $50 price jump was a little bit tough, so we're talking about a $100 price tag versus a $150 price tag just 1 year later. We will talk about the finishes on these as we go, but let's get into glass number 2 here, this one right now. The first thing that I'm trying to figure out is there really any difference between these two bottles, right? It's the exact same process just a year later. So this is the Rendezvous Rye, which is finished in ruby and tawny barrels, and we're going to talk about them in a little bit. I don't know how old this stuff is. This is MGP, as well as now it's High West distilled stuff. The MGP is a 95.5 rye. The High West stuff is 80% and 20%, so 80% rye, 20% malted barley. They used to use Barton, and I would love to because I did not know that the Barton they used to be sourcing was 16-year-old Barton. I would love to try some of the earlier releases. If anybody out there has some, let me know. I will definitely pay you for it. But at the end of the day, I would love to try some of that 16-year-old stuff because I believe everything that I read said the newer High West stuff is between that 4 to 7 year range, which is definitely different than a 16-year-old whiskey coming from Barton. Now, if we talk about the finishes on these are done in ruby and tawny casks. Now, I don't know how long they're aged for after they put into the barrels when it comes to the finishing process, but ruby is a wine that's aged for a little bit less than the tawny is aged for. They're made by the same grapes. Ruby gets a little bit less oxygen. Tawny gets a little bit more oxygen. And what that apparently does is give you more fruity notes when it comes to the ruby and more of those aged notes when it comes to the tawny. Those ruby casks are supposed to give you a little bit more brightness, right? That plum, that blackberry. I definitely got blackberry last time I drank the 10, while those tawny casks give you a little bit more of that age, that peanut, that fig, a little bit of that dryness, that oak, the smokiness that comes with age. So it's interesting because for me, I don't get as much as that tawny influence as I do get that ruby influence. But let's take another sip and see if we can figure out which one is which and if we like one better than the other. The main reason that I'm doing this is because I posted this video on the Facebook group, PA Bourbon Squad. I talk about it all the time. Check them out if you're in the Pennsylvania area. And somebody commented and said, as long as you aren't comparing this to 9, you'll love it because 9 was just that much better. And I'll be honest with you, we're almost halfway through both of these glasses, and I won't say 9 is so much better. I don't even know which one of these I like better, and they're a lot more similar than I thought they were going to be. I will say this though, for 98.6 proof, this glass over here drinks a lot easier than this glass. I don't think either of them drink at 98.6 proof, but next to each other, you can definitely tell that there's more ethanol on this glass. I also feel like I get more of the ruby influence on this and more of the tawny influence on this. Not knowing how long these are aged in either of those casks, it's interesting to see these side by side and see the specifics that I can pick out of them. I get the blackberry on this while I get that dry fig on this. I get a little bit of brightness on this while I'm getting the oaky and smokiness off this. Both glasses are good, but if you know me personally, I definitely like this flavor profile more than I like this one. Now, the guy in the Facebook comment, which is the reason that we're doing this, said there was a doughiness in Act 9, also a doughiness in Act 10, but it was more towards the finish, and he enjoyed Act 9 more than Act 10. Now, I don't really get a bread or a dough or a wheat aspect to this, maybe a little bit of graininess, but I really don't pick up any dough. Let me know in the comment section below if you get doughiness on either of these glasses. This glass is so much drier. It dries out your tongue. It dries out the back of your throat. Then I almost have to come back with this glass over here just to clear it out because there's so much brightness, so much fruitiness on this. This one is delicious. This one is also delicious, but next to each other, it's absolutely crazy how much more I enjoy this glass right here. Now, whenever I do a blind, people try and tell me, stop trying to figure out which bottle is which and just go with which one you like the best. And I always do. I always pick my favorite one. It's not like I'm going to try and guess which bottle is my favorite and then pick that one. But I do like to enjoy the idea of figuring out which bottle is which. In this particular case, I don't really care, right? Act 9, Act 10, they're pretty much the same bottle. Which one do I like better is the important part of this question. So I'm not going to guess which bottle is which in this particular video, although I will in future videos when it comes to blinds. So don't tell me not to do that, because that's half the fun. But let's finish this up and let's pick our favorite, which I'm sure you can guess what it is. But listen, let's grab our Great Whiskey Challenge podium here so we can dub a winner. And I'm sure you guys already know this is going to be our winner. This is going to be second place. Let's not wait any longer. Our winner was B, which was Act 9. Listen, if you liked a lot of that fruity notes, those blackberries, a little bit of that plum, definitely B is going to be for you. Act 10 had more of those tawny notes that I didn't really get the first time around, but side by side, I can definitely see it. Act 10 is still a great pour. I will definitely be picking up these bottles in the future. Make sure you comment below if you've had both of these, which one you've liked better. But hey, if you've made it this far in the video, click that like and click that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Come check us out on Instagram. We do a lot of fun things just on Instagram. Make sure you click that Discord link in the description below. Come chat with us 24/7. And if you want to, check out the Patreon. We do a lot of cool things, a lot of cool giveaways just for Patreon. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly and stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. None left.